Hello everyone, welcome back to another benchmark video. Today we will test Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. For this test, I am using a GTX 1650 DDR6 model along with an Intel i5 12400F processor and 16GB of RAM. All the drivers are up to the date and none of the components are overclocked, with all background processes closed. Let's get started. Upon opening the game, we immediately see a prompt warning about the low VRAM availability. In this case, the game requires a minimum of 6GB VRAM, but only 4GB is available. At the low preset, without any FSR in the CVS, we observe a frame rate between 40 to 60 FPS, with a 1% of 0 FPS. There are few frame time spikes, but they are negligible. The frame time is around 20 ms, which is acceptable for the slow end setup. However, once we move outside, into the open areas, there is a massive drop in the performance, nearly halving our frame rates. In water, you can expect 20 to 30 FPS and the frame time graph increases to 40 ms, sometimes reaching 70 ms, resulting in stuttery gameplay. In the hilly areas and grassy open areas, performance remains similar, with noticeable jitters in the frame time graph. Moving into the city area, frame rates drop again to between 20 to 30 FPS, but the frame time graph are more stable, around mid 30 ms, providing a relatively smoother gameplay experience. In the snow-covered mountains, the frame rate is similar, but the frame time spikes occur at constant intervals. Regarding the overall appearance of the game at the low settings without FSR, it looks blurry and soft, and texture rendering is delayed, likely due to the limited VRAM. At the low preset with the FSR set to native, the game visually improves with sharper textures and shadows, but the performance dips are noticeable, while in the Shiver, frame rates are between 20 to 30 FPS. And once we go outside, performance suffers further, sometimes dropping below 1 FPS. In the water, we see frame rates between 10 to 20 FPS with the frame time graph reaching 60 to 70 ms, leading to a choppy and stuttery experience. In town, performance is similar to the previous settings, but the frame time graph stabilizes around 50 to 60 FPS. Moving to the mountains, we can expect similar performance with the occasional spike in the frame time graph. With FSR set to quality in the CVS, performance slightly improves, reaching 30 to 40 FPS, but the 1% low is still 0 FPS, leading to an unstable frame time graph with the values around 30 ms. In open areas, performance decreases again, with frames in the water close to 10 to 20 FPS, but the frame time graph latency increases. On the hills and grass, performance is comparable, but the frame time graph becomes more unstable with noticeable spikes during mouse movements. In the town, there is a slight improvement, with the frames ranging between 20 to 30 FPS and a more consistent frame time graph. In the snow mountains, frame rates remain similar with the increasing frame time spikes. With FSR set to balance inside the CVS, frame rates are stable between 40 to 50 FPS and the frame time graph averages around 20 ms. Outside, in the water, frame rates dip but stay above 20 FPS. In the hilly and grassy areas, performance is similar, but the frame time latency doubles compared to inside the CVS. In town, performance remains consistent in terms of frame rate and frame time both. In the snow mountains, frame rates hover around 30 FPS, but the frame time graph shows larger spikes. With FSR set to performance, the performance inside the CVS is similar to that of balance mode, with frames ranging between 40 to 50 FPS and the 1% lows at 0 FPS. Outside, performance in the water dropped to mid-20s, but the frame time graph shows minimal increase in the latency compared to inside the CVS. On the hills and grass, performance is again comparable, with bigger frame time spikes throughout. In town, frame rates range from 20 to 30 FPS, maintaining a 1% low 0 FPS. In the snow mountains, performance remains similar to other areas. Finally, at FSR set to ultra performance, we see frame rates inside the CVS reach 60 FPS for the first time, with a more stable frame time graph and lower latency. As we venture outside, performance drops, hovering to around 30 FPS in the water. On the hills and grass, frame rates stay close to 30 FPS, but the frame time graph is filled with consistent spikes. In the town, performance remains similar to that of hills and grass, ranging between 20 to 30 FPS. In the snow mountains, frame rates exceed 40 FPS, falling between 30 to 50 FPS with decreased frame time latency but sometimes consistent spikes. Now, let's get to the verdict. Should you buy this game with the current PC specifications? I would not recommend it, as the game struggles to run even on the low preset. Despite applying frame generation and FSR, we still don't even manage to reach 60 fps, even at FSR set to ultra performance settings. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys in the next one.